Now we got to see whose white Christmas is whiter and better. The Grift Report starts now.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, what do you think you are, some kind of Hotep Jesus?
Ooh,
And
that's
I was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
Welcome to the Grift Report live Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm your host, the Grift God.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Hey, shout out to the homies in the chat. What up, Jules? Shout out to the Hoteps and the Hotepistanis in the chat. Excuse me.
Hotep.
We got Synergy Strength, Chant, Jules, Robert, Jay Pylon. What up, man? Jack Reeves. What's good, y'all? Welcome, welcome. Just me over on Rumble. Heilig Edomite. EMP, what's up, man? Matt Miller, Protocol, what up, man? Black Market Nick, I see you. The shit that I have to talk about on this show, this shit is just insane. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. Let's pull this up. So, refresh. Okay, here we go. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to compare Melania's White Christmas to Jill Biden's Christmas and see the differences. I'm going to give you my honest opinion here. You know me, I'm going to call it straight down the middle. What up, Trish? I'm going to call it straight down the middle. Okay? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about this. I'm going to call it straight down the middle. I'm going to grade these videos. I'm going to talk about this crazy white Christmas. Y'all ready? All right, let's do it. All right. First initial thoughts. Trash.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
That shit was trash. This shit was trash. I'm sorry. I got to call it down. I told you I'm going to call it down. I'm going to call it exactly how I say. That shit was trash. That was trash. It looked like a high school project. The shit looked like a high school project. It looked low budget. It looked like Melania had nothing to do with it. It was like, hey, you know, I'm just going to have somebody do this and I'm going to show up, blah, 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 blah. This shit was trash, Bree. Shit was trash. I got to be honest with you. They could have tried harder. It was uneventful. I felt no emotions. I didn't get any Christmas tingles or anything like that. It was boring. It was very white and boring. Okay? When I say white, I mean that in the sense of the most whitest whitenesses on the planet. And you know what I mean by that. The shit was milquetoast. The shit is boring. It was boring. It was like when you go and try and get a C on your final, right? You don't try to get an A, right? You don't take a chance and try to get an A. You just, a C, right? So that's what we're going to give this project. We're going to give this project a C minus, okay? Overall score, a C minus. The decor, I like this decor. You know, I'm going to give the decor probably, I'm going to go with an A-, B+ on the decor. Decor looks good. I like the decor. I like the white trees. You know, the red carpet back there and all of that. The cookies. Now this right here, this shot right here, it really hurt me to see this. What the fuck is that? What is that? Yeah, the music was weak as hell. What is this? What are those supposed to be? Christmas wreaths on the windows? Where's the see? They went low budget on the cake. This cake, I think this is a cake, a White House cake, if I'm not mistaken, or some sort of, I don't know, construct of the White House. But it needs lights. It needs fucking reindeer on the roof. Like, somebody just took some wreaths and said, done. Like, who made this? You know, whose child made this? Okay? This is the gingerbread White House? Yeah. So this is subpar work here. Melania sitting here pretending like she's talking to them about something important. You could tell Melania was like, yo, because, I mean, Melania's gone on record, says she don't give a shit about Christmas. I'm not saying she should or shouldn't, but she doesn't give a shit about Christmas. So you can tell she like showed up, right? And then look at her, pretending like she's doing something. Let's see. You see that moment? Oh, Melania, can you touch the bowl and pretend like you did something? You know, Melania is way too fly to be doing some work, right? And here's one of her advisors here that, you know, probably helped her decorate this. Right, I see they got the garland around the top of the arches there. That's cool and all. So here's the actual White House, I guess. You know, I like this shot. This shot right here, like you didn't try hard enough. You just didn't try hard enough. Why is this shot off center? It's not even, the tree ain't even in the correct left third. Okay, why is the tree not centered in this image? Why is the tree not centered in this shot? Who shot this? You know, and look, and you can look at, they didn't even use a gimbal for that shot. You didn't even shoot this with a gimbal? Like, what are we doing here? You can see how the camera rises just a little bit at the end there, right? You got the nativity and all of that, right? 3 wise men and the baby. They got the fireplace, right? And then you get the shot and you come through the door. Where's the star on the top? Where's the star on the top of the tree? The tree ain't got no star on top. If it is, it ain't lit up well enough. So I'm going to go ahead and get at that project a C-. And now let's go to Jill Biden. So Melania got a C-. Let's take a look at what Jill Biden is up to. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Here we go. First of all, Melania's was only 60 seconds. The Jill Biden one is 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Let's pull this up and see what we got here. Okay. So it begins with the black woman. I just want to point this out. It begins with the black woman coming into focus. You see this image right here? This is basically saying we are going to focus in on black women. Okay. Now, this is the only pause I'm going to have in this video. I'm going to play it through in entirety, and we're going to go back through it in detail, okay? Let's take a look at it. He said, remind me not to invite Hotep to my Christmas house. He said, aren't Melania and Trump's family Jewish? Yeah. You disagree with HJ on this? I don't give a damn if you disagree with me on this. Go get your own show and put your opinions on your show. This my show, my opinions. And I'm telling you right now, that shit was trash. Shit was a lackluster performance by Melania. She could have did much better. My daughter could have did better. My daughter's actually amazing at decorating and shit like that. But anyway. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. So first things first, we gave Melania a grade. We're going to have to give Jill a grade. Now, Jill doesn't appear in this video. I don't think Jill had any input in this video outside of, can you find me some niggas that can tap dance?
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Can you find me some niggas that, I mean, that looks like what she did. She said, hey, I need some niggas that can tap dance for my Christmas video. Can you make it happen? So outside of that little bit of input, she didn't do anything. So I'm going to have to give her also a C-. So both first ladies basically had no participation in the creation of these videos, so they both get a C-, right? Like they produced something, they gave us something of value. Now, I'm going to grade the production value on this video compared to the other video. Keep in mind, we're talking about production value, production quality. The production on this was way higher than Melania's. It gets an A in production. The decorations were above and beyond, the costumes above and beyond, the theatrics, the performance, the camera work, all top notch. Okay? Now, I'm going to have to give this a personal grade. This is the Hotep Jesus grade for this production. Okay? My grade for this production, I'm going to have to give it an I for Illuminati.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
I don't know. This shit is spooky as hell. Okay? Spooky as hell. Let's go through it. So there's a ton of pieces of the agenda in here. I don't know who thought of this, but it's spooky. So again, it begins with the focus on the black woman. That's what Democrats love to do. That's who they'll throw under the bus when shit hits the fan. So as you can see, it begins with the black woman in focus. Okay, let's continue. And you're following her down the hall. And then the first thing we see is the next character we see is the white man as a furry. Now, it's very important to see what type of furry that is. What is that animal? What is that? It's very important to know. Because there's a lot of Illuminati symbolism in this. So let's go. Let's continue. So this is some paper cardboard. But again, it encapsulates the Christmas spirit there with the candy canes and all of that. I'm sure there's some Illuminati red, white references here. Some Rothschild, Red Shield, Red Cross situation going on with these colors. But I'll leave that for Jonah later when he call in. And then we get another black woman, and she's super excited, right? Super excited, right? And you see the white woman in the back. Now, the white woman in the back, she looked like Chess Chick. She looked like Chess Chick. I don't know if y'all follow Chess Chick on Twitter, but she looked like Chess Chick. But the white woman is dressed. We'll get to that in a second. They got the white woman as a soldier. So what you have here is a bit of transgenderism or gender swapping. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. Again, the set looks really great. Now, here go the white man. Look what they did to the white man. Oh, my Lord. They done put the flower on top of him. This is the effeminization of the white man is what we're seeing here in real time. He signed up for this. This man, this person you see in this film signed up for this. Okay? And he went through with the performance. Now, if I show up and, it's time for me to tap dance for the white man, and they say, hey, B, we got this blue outfit and then this hat right here. I'm like, all right, well, let me see the hat. And I look at the hat. I'm like, yo, shit got a flower on top, B. Yeah, we need you to wear that. All right, I'm gonna have to bounce. Y'all not about to have me on camera rocking no fucking flower hat. What are we doing? What are we doing? So this is the White House co-signing the effeminization. This is all predictive programming here. Okay? Effeminizing the white man. Okay, let's continue. They got the black man right here. Don't forget, we're going to have the black man tap dancing for us as well. Is that Andrew Jackson in the background? I think that. Let me see. Hold on. I think that's Andrew Jackson in the background. That's a plus. Let's continue. What room is this? I don't know what room this is, but again, we get a bunch of different looks. I love the decor. And then they bring the black man and the black woman here. Come tap dance for us. Now, I need you to tap dance for us on the checkerboard. The Freemasonry, all of that. Yeah, come dance for us. Y'all ain't peeped that, did y'all? The checkerboard right there. I know Jake Pylon peeped it. I need you niggas to come tap dance on this checkerboard for me for Freemason purposes. Okay? And then here they bring the white man back in. And there he is, happy as could be, dancing with the flower on his head, feminization of the white man. And then you see the next one is the white woman. And you notice with the white woman, what is she wearing? She's wearing a pantsuit. So this is a gender swapping here is what the White House has done. A gender swapping situation is what's happening here, where the white woman wears the pants. Okay. Now it fades out, comes back in, and it focuses again on the dancers. And the dancers do their routine here. Okay. And they got the mock White House in the background. I thought that was a menorah in the background. It would have been bonus points if they'd had a menorah in the background. So what is this? What animal is this white man right here? It looks like a mouse. That's a mouse with a crown on his head. Wow. Wow. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean the white man is a rat? Or are they saying that he's quiet as a mouse? The white man has been quiet as a mouse. He ain't spoken up in years. I don't know what they're trying to say here. Again, here's the white woman dressed as a soldier. Why didn't they put the white man in the soldier outfit? Why is the white man not in the soldier outfit? Why the white woman? Because they want a gender swap. That's what they want to do. They want a gender swap. They don't want life to be as it should be. Right? Now, I'd just like to say that, disclaimer. Hold on. Where my disclaimer at? Y'all going to have to watch the disclaimer. Hold on before I finish this.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by Hotep Jesus are those of Hotep Jesus's and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Hotep Nation or any of its officials. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact our Office of General Counsel via the sheet of the town. And Hotep and them.
So, somebody said it's the Rat King. I guess, you know, this is white culture, the what do you call it? The Nutcracker. I guess it's some white culture shit. Maybe, you know, or maybe we was Nutcrackers. Pause. So now in focus, what do we have here? The white woman dancing with the black woman, celebrating. What are they celebrating? Could they be celebrating the fact that they are now the purveyors of the agenda? That they are the ones that get to sit on the throne of leadership and dictate, allegedly, because there's going to be some paymasters behind them, but get to dictate to the masses how they should conduct and act. This is a celebration of the white woman and the black woman. And here's this nut again. And then it fades out with another routine. Now, I just want to say this to the dancers, right? Now, dancers are weird people to begin with, all right? They're just, and I say weird, it just means different from me, right? They do weird shit, you know, they don't mind dressing up and all this other weird shit. Like, it's part of the performance, right? So this is some performance art shit that I'm just not privy to. So I'd like to excuse them, right? And excuse their participation, except for that white man with the flower hat. You are not excused, sir. You were supposed to say no. You're supposed to say, hey, why don't you put one of these bitches in this flower hat? That's what you were supposed to say. You know what I'm saying? Give me the soldier outfit and put the motherfucking flower on her head. What is we doing here? What is we doing here? Right? So the dancers, I know y'all do weird shit, so this is nothing new. This is performance, this is Broadway shit for y'all. So I would like to say phenomenal performance by these tap dancers. Absolutely phenomenal performance by these tap dancers. My hat goes off to them. However, they were used for an agenda. Now, we're not done yet. Let's come back. Let's reach down in the bag. Got some more information here. You know, the red whites, they always going to drudge up some shit. You know, so let's take a look at it. So the red whites drudged this up. And, hold on, let me make sure you can see this. You can't. All right. So you can't see that yet. Hold on. I think it's this. Okay, cool. Let's go here. So the name of the dance group is Dorrance Dance. DORRANCE dance.com. So let's go there. Let's see what they're about, right? Because they've been accused of being BLM supporters and, you know, whatever. So, okay, wow, this is interesting. So right at the top of their website, in their menu, it goes home, and then the first thing you see there is anti-racism. Okay, let's click on that. Urgent action needed. Okay, so there's some activism going on here, right? Some anti-racism shit, right? Events, repertory. So they got a bunch of events coming up. That's what's up. Education, donate. So what did this person find? Let me see here. So this person found something. Take action. What page is this? I'm trying to find that actual page. Hold on. No. Don't want that. Are they based out of New York? Okay. Go about. No. I can't find what. Hold on, let me see if I can see a URL on this page. What is this? Justice for Andre Hill. Defund the police. Whole bunch of police reform stuff. Police reform. Wait, stop. Wait a second. Tell BlackRock CEO Larry Fink stop funding the NYPD's attacks on protesters. Damn. See, they got a common enemy with y'all. Y'all got to pay attention to shit like that. You got to pay attention to shit like that. Hold on. Trying to find this page. Actually, you know what I could do? I could probably do a reverse search. Hold on. Let me do a reverse search. Dorrance Dance, take action. DorranceDance.com. Take action. Let me see if I can find that page. Hold on. Yeah, good. Found it.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
All right, let's get into it. All right, so abolition work. There's prison abolition. Petitions for justice. Okay, so a bunch of change.org links here. Basically, petitions to support people. I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, you want to sign a petition, you know, go ahead. Okay, end gender-based violence. I don't know what the fuck that shit's about. End gender-based violence. What? I'm sure Sean King is, or I should say Talcum X is somewhere lurking on here. Synergy said some big brain stuff here I see. Yeah, don't you just love it? Don't you just love it? Pardon black women imprisoned for voting? Wait, what? Pardon black woman. Hadn't originally planned, but she decided to do this and she's making more time in prison. Spent time in prison for tax fraud. She had been unruly strippers. Oh, wow. That's fucking wild. That is wild. So a lady who was a felon for tax fraud goes to jail, gets out, goes to vote, and then they lock her up. This is in Texas. That's fucking wild. They lock her up for voting. Now that's fucked up. Free my lady. Free her ass ASAP. Wow. More protection for black trans women in the UK. Oh my God. Police de-escalation training. Abolish prison labor in the USA. I agree with that one. Ban the use of rubber bullets. Black British history and British history. That's weird. Just teach your people the history, bro. I never got that. They call it for NYPD. So, what else is the red whites complaining about here? Let's see what else they got here. Educate yourself. So it says for... Hold on, let me find this one. Hold on. Let's see if we can find that page. Yep, found it. All right, here we go. It says here, for those who are investigating or have questions about white privilege, systemic racism, white fragility, and anti-racism for the first time, go to antiracismforbeginners.com. Okay, let's go there. It's a Google Doc. Anti-racism resource. What is white privilege? What is white privilege? It is the level of societal advantage. Hold on, can you guys see this? Let's check this out. It is the level of societal advantage that comes with being seen as the norm in America, automatically conferred, irrespective of wealth, gender, or other factors. It makes life smoother, but it's something you would barely notice unless it were suddenly taken away or unless it had never applied to you in the first place. Taking it for granted that when you're shopping alone, you probably won't be followed or harassed. Knowing that if you ask to speak to the person in charge, you'll almost certainly be facing someone of your own race. See, being able to think about different social, political, and professional options without asking whether someone from your race would be accepted or allowed to do what they want to do. Assuming that if you want to buy a house in a nice neighborhood, your neighbors will be pleasant and neutral toward you. Feeling welcome and normal in the usual walks of public life, institutional. So I hate the examples. I love the definition. And this is a hard pill to swallow for people. White people are the majority, and anybody in the majority are going to have a leg up on the minority. It's just human nature. So it's a level of societal advantage that comes with being seen as the norm in America. That is true. That is a fairly good definition of white privilege. Being white, you do have an advantage in primarily white countries. That is just human nature, right? These examples, though, are trash. You know what a good example of white privilege is? And I think it's along the lines of right here, right? Is, not having an inherent feeling that you'll be seen as a thief, right? I have that, right? Like, when I get invited to places with white people, I make sure I stay far away from the white women and I stay far away from the valuables. Because I know, like, I'll give you an example, right? Once upon a time, I had a job and it was very strenuous. This is back when I was working with 50 at the startup. And my boss walks in and I'm asleep on my desk, right? And that was kind of like, it was kind of be expected because everybody knew in the office that I didn't get out of my execution until 5 a.m. I got to the office at about 6 a.m. and the boss walks in at 8 a.m. So I'm catching the snooze. She doesn't mind. It was normal for me because I worked like 18 hours a day. So she comes in and she noticed and she goes, hey, Brian, you look really tired. Do you want to go to my house and take a nap? Now, in my head, I go, now this is rich white woman, like her husband's like hedge fund manager type white woman, right? So in my head, I'm like, yes, I would love to sleep on your expensive ass white people bed. I know that's comfortable as shit. In your beautiful fucking NYC loft. However, you're not going to set me up, white lady. Because then what happens? I go to her house. I fall asleep. I come back to the office. The next day she comes to the office. She goes, oh, my pearls are missing. Brian must have stolen them. And then I'm fired. Now, I know she would have done this because she tried to set me up. Later on down the line, she tried to set me up in a different way. And that's another story for another day. So being black in America, you know how like they used to say like white women cross the street? Nigga, I cross the street for white people because I don't want them to act like I'm fucking dangerous and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is my own personal experience that I feel, and I don't know what it feels like to be white, but I don't know if white people walk around with having these types of thoughts, right? So I don't like some of these examples here, but white privilege is a real thing, right? What is systemic racism? Let's take a look at this one. It wasn't too long ago that a lot of people were talking about post-racial America. We had elected black president for the first time, went ahead and reelected him 4 years later, and the country's feeling good about itself. Can we just get to the fucking definition? While his presidency was indeed profound, meaningful, marked true, presidents, In fact, racism is built into every level of our society in ways that might surprise you, okay? Racism of this kind, racism that affects the very structure of our society, is called systemic racism. And at first glance, it may be difficult to detect. No, it's not difficult to detect. Since the election of Donald Trump, hate crimes on the rise, white supremacists, anti-immigrant, but systemic racism is something different. It's less about violence or burning crosses than it is about everyday decisions made by people who may. Systemic racism persists in schools, offices, court system, police departments, and elsewhere. Why? Think about it. When white people occupy most positions of decision-making power, people of color have a difficult time getting a fair shake, let alone getting ahead. Okay. So this is going to tie into the white privilege thing. I've thought of another example of white privilege. Okay. White privilege is when people assume that you're not dumb. Okay. Black people are always assumed that we're dumb and we're treated that way. Right. And especially by white liberals. Right. Because white liberals have this maternalistic, paternalistic instinct when it comes to us. Like they have to do for us and they have to take care of us because we don't know no better. We can't read. We can't do maths, massa, you know. So that exists, right? Now, it says here, I didn't like the rest of this. The rest of this is some bullshit. But it says here, systemic racism persists in our schools, offices, court system, police departments, and elsewhere. And that's correct. And it says here, when white people occupy most positions of decision-making power, people of color have a difficult time getting a fair shake, let alone getting ahead. This is true. This is true. However, these are the liberals, these are the progressives, these are the Democrats. The white people who have not been hiring black people, the white people with decision-making power are blue whites. These are blue whites. The blue whites control our schools. We talked about that before with the teachers unions. Many of them slant left. The majority slant left. Offices. These are your Karens, all in HR. You know who don't hire black people? The white women in these HR offices. It's white women run HR in America. And many of them are fucking leftists. The court system, absolutely. We don't even have to get into the court system. We know how the court system does niggas. We don't got to get into that. Police departments, we know how they do niggas and elsewhere. My issue is they sit alongside Biden, who is a purveyor of systemic racism a perpetuator of systemic racism. Mr. I don't want my kids to integrate into a dirty jungle with them monkeys. Mr. Crime Bill Joe, Jim Crow Joe. Huh? Like your party, the party you just tap dance for, is the same party that you talking about in this paragraph. You know what I'm saying? The problem is that white people see racism as conscious hate. Okay. True. That's true. When racism is bigger than that. Racism is a complex system of social and political levers and pulleys set up generations ago to continue working on behalf of whites and other people's expense. Now they kind of lost me. It's like there's a bit of a gray area here. This sentence is correct. When you say racism, white people automatically think hate. And I don't think of hate when I think of racism. Sometimes I do, but for the most part, my definition is just when white people take care of white people and black people take care of white people, you care about your fucking race, right? And then there's racism where it could include hate, right? But people want to say, sometimes when people say you're racist, when I say it, I'm saying you just give a fuck about the white race. You're pro-white, and that's perfectly fine, right? Whereas you might say that and then go, no, I'm pro-white, but I'm not racist. And I'm like, nah, you're a racist because you believe in having your race of people, live with your race of people, produce with your race of people, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's very natural, and white people have been stripped of that, mostly because they've been given this term white, which is something that brings them into an umbrella of something that does not exist. So as Americans, what we're talking about here are groups of people who have had their memories erased and replaced. Americans are groups of people who have had their memories erased and replaced. I'm going to say that again. Americans are groups of people who have had their history erased and replaced. White people can no longer tell you their lineage in Germany, their lineage to Russia, to Italy. You ask them, they might tell you. But if you ask them, what are you? They're going to say, I'm white. Well, what is white? There is no fucking such thing as white. It's a legal term, right? So you can't be white. But they will say that they're white. So the first psyop is to tell black people they are black, and then to tell white people they are white, so they fall under two different legal statuses and obfuscate them for identities.
I wish all the black people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the white people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the Hispanics were as smart as Hotep Jesus. Because that guy, he really gets it. He knows how to boil it down.
Then you can no longer point to exact right and true history. You cannot point to, if you're German, you can't start diving into German history. You can't start diving in, if you're from Switzerland, you're not encouraged to. So the other thing you do is you replace your lineage with this idea of America, which is just simply a corporate experiment. Okay? Then you do haram things like put a Christmas tree in your house, where the Bible tells you only the heathen decks the trees, right? So the Bible tells you not to put a Christmas tree in your house, but the American way is to put the American way is to put a Christmas tree in your house and go against your Bible, but you still say you're Christian. Okay? Do I need to show that to y'all? Let me show that to y'all. Let's type in heathen decks the tree, right? Let's go Bible quote. What verse is this? Here we go, right here. This is Jeremiah 10. Okay. I'm sorry, Jeremiah 3. For the customs of the people are vain, For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it not move. There's another one where it talks about where they bring it into the household, right? So the Christmas tree is a pagan ritual, but they've confused you, they being Coca-Cola, the inventors of Santa Claus, right? Or Satan Claus, right? Which is derived from Saint Nicholas, they say. Okay? So they erase and replace your history, give you new concepts that go against your own Bible, tell you are an American, but an American is really a corporate experiment. And then you have pride in the corporate experiment that has erased and replaced your history. Okay? So when we talk about, these topics of racism and what it means to be white, you've got to encompass the erasure of so-called white people. You've got to talk about how white people have been removed. So then what they do is they removed us from our history and replaced it. And then they juxtapose us to each other so that we stay fighting, so we never look at the establishment people making the judgment calls. Okay? Deffy says, what if your history is a big mix of everything? That's even better. That's even better. That means you have to study more. It means you have to go down your grandma's lineage and look at, what did her family do? How did her family live? They don't want you to know how people in the past lived. My grandfather was a tailor. He could make you a set of pants, make you a full suit, a very talented tailor. Today, that is, a forgotten skill. People don't even treasure skills like that anymore. Okay? So, again, being an American is being under hypnosis of the concept of loving your enslavement to a corporate experiment.
I wish all the black people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the white people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the Hispanics were as smart as Hotep Jesus. Because that guy,
now,
he really gets it. He knows how to boil it
You're
down.
not supposed to say that, right? Because as a grifter or influencer, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to encourage people to be patriotic and be nationalists, right? And the left will even tell you, oh, look at these nationalists. And they'll make it seem like nationalism is bad. Nationalism isn't inherently bad, but what are you a nationalist to? What are you pledging allegiance to? So they play on both sides, where the left will make it seem bad, the right will make it seem good. And then the middle is, well, what exactly are we cherishing here? What are we loving here? What is there to love? So they played on both sides. Now, as a grifter or influencer, how are you supposed to play this? Well, it's quite simple. You're supposed to tell people, hey, be patriotic. I love America. I love God, guns, America. God, guns, in America. This is what you're supposed to say as an influencer. This is what you're supposed to say as a grifter, to keep the audience who has been psyoped with jingoism glued to your publication. But I don't do that here. I don't keep people under hypnosis. I remove hypnosis. That's what Hoteps do. We remove the hypnosis. We encourage you to go find your true identity, your true history, so you have some connection. You're not white. You're European. You're Yamnaya. You're corded ware. Do you know who you are, so-called white people? Do you know your lineage? Do you know your background? Do you know where you come from? You are not Americans. Okay? You came here from somewhere else. Your people, where did they come from? Do you know? Do you care? Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, I was born here. You were born into the corporate experiment. And until you're ready to admit that, you could never be Hotep.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
What else they got here? What is white fragility? Now, this is the one I was really interested in. Let's take a look here. Because the white fragility is real. And we're seeing it now amongst the right. Whereas before, I was like, white fragility was mostly on the left. Now I'm seeing on the left and the right. On the left, we saw it where white man got down. They was kissing boots, right? Now, they wouldn't include that in their white fragility definition here. We saw it when the Hebrew Israelites had the white people kissing their boots. That's white fragility, guilt for winning the game. I don't know why you had guilt for winning the game. You should be proud of winning the game and being in the lead, right? Somewhat, at least. I would say second place. Second place. White people are second place on this planet. So it says here, referring to the defensive moves that white people make when challenged racially, white fragility is characterized by emotions such as anger, fear, and guilt, and by behaviors including argumentation and silence. These behaviors in turn function to reinstate racial equilibrium and prevent any meaningful cross-racial dialogue. All right, that's boule babble. There's some good things here. One thing is we don't have enough cross-racial dialogue. I do agree with that. There's not much meaningful cross-racial dialogue, mostly because the blue whites won't allow it. Blue whites won't allow it. Accountability feels like an attack when you're not ready to acknowledge how your behavior harms others. So this is the grouping of white people. Remember I told you they're going to take you and turn you into this homogenous group. So now the crimes of one white person are the crimes of all white people, right? And what you can do is you can agree to that or you can disagree to that. But if you disagree to that, then you can't run around with the 13 and 50 memes. You got to take all y'all good and all y'all bad. You got to take everything that Christopher Columbus did and everybody else. You got to eat that if you want to act as a whole. Not at times where you can act like an individual, act as a whole. But in this case, yeah. So I think what this is there's an apprehension to race discussions, especially amongst the red whites. The red whites have an apprehension to have racial discussions, mostly because they're just exhausted, right? The left has been beating their ass with racism for the past few decades. So they're just exhausted and tired of hearing from it, right? But white fragility, for me, exists when the niggas don't tap dance the way they want them to, so they cancel them, right? Niggas don't tap dance the way the white man want them to, so they cancel them, right? You're seeing it happen now with, hold on, let's see if we can find it. Candace Owens, hold on, let me pull this up. Right here. Yeah, all this shit just ties together. Pastor Scott, was Candace Owens a DEI hire at Daily Wire or TPUSA? No newscaster experience, no college degree, only black woman at Daily Wire. Now, we all know that Candace Owens was a diversity hire. And some people will push back and be like, no, she's brilliant. Da, 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 da. All right, I hear you. You know, all that dick riding and shit. She's all right. She's cool. She got some hot shit. She's not qualified for the position. Her show hasn't produced any classics. It's been lackluster performance from her since she's been at Daily Wire. There's been nothing from that show that we've had to cover outside of maybe some troll comment she's made, right? She doesn't produce great content. What she's good at is criticizing black people, and then, you know, the whites love her. But when she's not in that role, she's quite boring and unfascinating, right? So she is a diversity hire, and that's to counteract the left. So they're playing racial games when they like to try and hide the whole racial thing, right? So racial fragility is when you go and hire a black woman, to cover for your white ass, to make you feel good about your whiteness, to tell you you're not bad, right? So that's a form of white fragility as well. But white fragility, again, exists on the left. when you won't have conversations with people like Hotep Jesus because you know I will intellectually whoop your ass. So you don't talk to people like me and others like me, okay? They won't dare have a conversation with Goldstein because they know he'll intellectually whoop their ass and say things that they know the public don't want to know, okay? So the white fragility thing does exist. I'm not gonna read the rest of this. The rest of this shit is just fucking boule babble, victim shit, and garbage. I would say probably 25% of this paper is worth anything. The rest of it is hot garbage. Anti-racism resource list. You know, if you're gonna do this, it's got to be right and exact. It's got to be specific. If Hillary Clinton's name don't appear on here, let me do a search. Is Hillary here? Hillary Clinton's name's not here. You gotta put Hillary's name on this list. You want to show what systemic racism looks like? You got to show, like, it should be, when you put up systemic racism, it should be a picture of Hillary Clinton's face right there. It should literally be a picture of Hillary Clinton's face. I can't think of anybody who has weaponized systemic racism more than her. I really can't, right? And I talked about this on the Megyn Kelly show. Well, and I showed this to you a bunch of times. Right here, it popped up in my recent Hillary Clinton has slaves. And basically, you know, it says right here, let's pull this up. The Clintons had slaves. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
What are we doing here? Huh? Published June 2017. Nathan J. Robinson. What are we doing? What are we doing? Not only that, they bombed the shit out of Libya, and now they got slaves in Libya now. So you can't talk about systemic racism without mentioning the Wicked Witch. Can't do it. Can't do it. It's got to be in the document. That's why I can't fuck with these people, because I want to talk about racism. I want to talk about white fragility with them. But can we talk about this right here? How she exploits the 13th Amendment to use slave labor on her plantation so she can feel like a slave master in modern times. That's some sick shit. That's some sick shit. Where you go get niggas out of jail to come do work on your house so you can feel like a slave master in present time. I'm not even going to get to her Haiti work. I'm going to talk about what she's doing here in America. We're not going to talk about Haiti. Let's talk about what she did here in America. That's what I want to focus on. She did the Haiti shit too. We know about the Haiti shit, what the Haitians said about that. Okay? So I can't deal with all these racist talks if you're not going to put a picture of Miss Super Predator. We should play that clip, matter of fact. We should play that clip. Let's play that clip. I just need this shit fresh in y'all mind. I just need it fresh in y'all mind.
The C-SPAN networks bring you long-form public affairs programming from the nation's capital and are a public service of your television provider. C-SPAN.
The challenge is to take back our streets from crime, gangs, and drugs. And we have actually been making progress on this count as a nation because of what local law enforcement officials are doing, because of what citizens and neighborhood patrols are doing. We're making some progress. Much of it is related to the initiative called community policing, because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed.
You hear that? More police officers on the street. And then when they was over here, with on the dance routine, what they was talking about? Police reform, right? So you want to roll back what Hillary did, but not talk about Hillary. Why? Because you niggas is bought and paid for. She bought y'all already, probably. Well, let's see who bought y'all. Let's see the organizations. Oh, my God. Oh. Hey, yo. I didn't... Do y'all see that on my screen? We gonna go to the phone lines in a second. Text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631. 202-596-5631. Oh my God. Who's the supporters? I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm led by God. That's how shit like this happens on the stream. None of this shit is planned. This shit is just ordained. I'm telling you, Hotepism is blessed by God. You see that on my screen? Who cutting the checks? These motherfuckers got a document on white fragility, systemic racism, and look who paying them.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Let's go back to the tape.
The crime bill that was passed in 1994.
Uh-oh.
He promised 100,000 police. We're moving in that direction, but we can see it already makes a difference.
Did you see the Rockefeller on the screen under the people paying them? Did you see it? 6 companies, 6 elites.
Because if we have more police interacting with people,
more police, you hear her, more police.
Having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs. Just as in a previous generation we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the president has asked the FBI to launch...
We've got to bring these super predators to heel.
A very concerted effort against gangs everywhere. In addition to that, he has appointed a new drug czar. You probably saw him Tuesday night. He's one of the most distinguished active military generals.
We don't need to play no more. We got her.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
We got her. So that's why I can't get with these folks, man. They talking all this. Systemic racism is politics and the system and the pulleys and the... Where's Hillary's name? How do you talk about race? I can't talk about racism without talking about Hillary. You can't do it. Can't do it. Just not possible. Look, I'm going to show it to you one last time. I want this image to burn in your head. Let that image right there. You see that 4 words on the screen? The Clintons had slaves. I want you to say that out loud. Wherever you are right now, the Clintons had slaves. The Clintons had slaves. The Clintons had slaves. How do you talk about racism and not talk about black slaves under the Clintons' control? How do you do that? You think I'm worried about Lil Buck down in fucking Alabama with his Confederate? I'm not worried about him. He don't control no parts of politics. Hillary did. Biden does. Jill does. You know what systemic racism is? I'm going to show you what systemic racism is right now on the screen. I'm going to show you systemic racism right now on the screen. This right here, this is systemic racism. You see that? This is systemic racism. When you go out and you get a bunch of Negroes to tap dance for you, to celebrate your pagan holiday.
I wish all the black people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the white people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the Hispanics
That's what
were
it is.
Because that guy, he really gets it. He
To
knows how to
push,
boil it down.
to push an agenda, which is only going to divide us further. To push an agenda is going to divide our household, divide our genders, divide the man from the woman, the wife from the husband, the child from the parents. All designed to use black people to push an agenda. That is systemic racism. We're going to go to the phone lines. Text Hotep in your name at 202-596-5631. 202-596-5631. I'm going to take calls.